Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the best way to avoid problems when claiming your Social Security. Social Security is an important aspect of many people's retirement income. Oh, excuse me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Al Rush. I am a chartered financial consultant, a chartered life underwriter. Currently, my office is located in Morris County in New Jersey. I'm glad that you've taken the time to spend probably, I'm going to say, about 5 to 10 minutes tops, just discussing some of the tips I might have for you on this topic. One of the main things that people are often confused about is their Social Security benefits, is whether they should take it now or whether they should take it later. When I say now or later, what I'm really referring to is, should they take their benefit at the early age, current age, or the latest possible age? That's a question that a lot of people are really struggling with. So let's go over some of the things that'll help you get a better understanding on that. The first thing I'm going to tell everybody, which may seem strange to some of you, but it's kind of simple: don't take retirement advice from the Social Security Administration. The Social Security Administration is not a financial planning organization designed and or staffed to help you maximize your retirement benefits. By the way, be sure to make your adjustments to your screen size. Make sure your volume is up so you can hear anything, especially if you're using iPad or iPhone. You can use the default settings for the iPad and the iPhone. That having been said, let's just say this. This is what the plan is for me today. I want you to be able to learn why not to save the date with Social Security, the importance of the Social Security claiming strategies, and why using Social Security benefit is an important part of planning for your retirement income. By the way, in order to thank you for attending and to help you to get a greater value from the resources that I am making available, I'm going to give you an attendance bonus. It's kind of simple. We'll give you a 20-minute one-on-one web meeting. I'm not going to come to your house, but I will set up a web meeting with you. Or we will prepare a computer analysis for your Social Security claiming strategies based on your specific situation and information. I would value either one of these to be worth at least $1,200, but we're going to make them available to you today if you request them during this meeting and as late as 15 minutes after this meeting. Question that I would ask if I were coming here is kind of simple. Why is he qualified to even talk about this? I'm going to summarize it like this. I've been in the financial services industry since 1974. I have held positions as sales manager. I have for insurance companies, equity companies, financial planning companies. I have worked with corporations, sole proprietorships, business owners of all sorts, including major law firms. I have worked with Taft-Hartley pension plans. I have probably worked with, provided for, and or advised over thousands of clients and totals of companies on these topics, such as retirement income, pension planning, Social Security analysis, things of that nature. This is why I'm qualified. The reason that I'm doing this on a webinar is because I could not even possibly begin to sit down with most of you, but at least this information allows you to have some clarification or understanding of some of the questions that you probably need to be looking at. And if you are one of the few people who takes advantage of the offer, you'll also get my personal attention, which has value. As we go along, you can feel free to send in your comments and your questions. I'll cover those a bit later and make sure you get everything you need. Okay, let's get started here. First question is, why would I not want to save the date? I mean, most of us have probably received envelopes and cards from individuals that we know or organizations that we're involved with, or organizations that want us to come to things such as weddings or graduations or parties or events, things of that nature. And it's a nice thing because they send you the save the date card that means that you can put it on your calendar. Well, the problem in doing that with Social Security is kind of simple. The Social Security agents are concerned about you suing them. Therefore, they have been instructed to open a file as soon as you contact them. So if you were to call them and contact them and ask them about your retirement benefit from Social Security, even if you were not intending on collecting it, they're going to open a file. And when they open a file, they're going to put in the file a date when you anticipate beginning to receive your Social Security benefit. It doesn't matter whether you intend to receive them then or not, they're going to open a file. Now, when you open that, when that file gets open, that file may trigger some things that you are not aware of and some things that you may not have intended to occur, such as, let's just say that you called and said you wanted to start receiving your retirement benefit at your full retirement age. Let's say that's age 67. Well, at age 67, you're eligible to receive your full retirement benefit. But quite often people don't understand that you're not actually at full retirement age until the full month that you are of that age. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean. If you are born on the 20th of the month, and let's say the month is September, if you call for the 20th of the month of September to begin your Social Security benefit, you're actually 1 month younger, because it's not until you've had a full month at that age that you are at your full retirement benefit. Now, what does that mean? That means that there are a couple of things that you can't do, and we can discuss those later, such as file and suspend. If you have not yet reached your full retirement benefit. Now, you, on the other hand, may not even be aware that you're not at your full retirement benefit until the following month, in this case, October. So when they send you your first check, which, by the way, will not come in September, it probably won't show up until October at best, and possibly November. That check's going to be a little bit short because you were not at your full retirement age. So what you want to do is make certain that under no circumstances do you allow them to put save the date in advance of you specifically getting ready to retire at a given time. Don't save the date. The next thing is, why is it important? This thing that I keep hearing about, claiming strategies. In fact, what in the world does claiming strategies mean? Well, the term that people have started to use is called the claiming strategies or claiming options is really come into play because there are so many different variations of when and how you go about collecting your Social Security. The basic things would start with, you can collect your Social Security as the employee or the worker. You can collect your spouse's benefit based on your spouse's work. You can collect a benefit based on being a widow. You can collect spousal benefits if you are divorced. You can collect benefits if you are the head of a household with minor children. You can collect benefits at full retirement age, early retirement age, late retirement age, as late as age 70. The real problem comes into consideration is that when you're looking at what you're going to collect on Social Security, you have to do some calculations. You have to do some assessment. You have to do some analysis as to the different things that are going to come into play. An example, you could collect your Social Security benefit at age 65. Maybe you do that because you needed the income. Then along the way, you go back to work. When you go back to work, that benefit that you started to collect gets reduced based on the amount of income that you make. So sometimes it's not right for you to start to collect your Social Security benefit until after you are certain as to what your actual financial circumstances are going to be. There are other strategies. Some of these strategies you've probably heard of. There's a strategy called file and suspend. File and suspend just basically means you start your Social Security benefit, then you stop it. By the way, most people don't realize that you can start your Social Security benefit and then come back and stop it. A lot of people aren't aware that you can start your Social Security benefit and then change your mind and go back and ask them to start it again at a later age. And you have an option that allows you to, number one, give them back the money that you've collected. Or you can file and stop your benefit and then come back later and ask them to give you the money that you didn't get in a lump sum. There are a number of different ways to collect your Social Security benefit. One of the things a lot of people don't realize or don't fully understand or are confused about is claiming Social Security benefits under a spousal benefit. Quite often using a spousal benefit works for people because you can collect a benefit based on your spouse's Social Security benefit while your spouse continues to work and collect benefits or increase their benefit. And at the same time, you can continue to have your benefit grow to as late as age 70 while collecting your spousal benefit and have your benefit increase significantly because it's going to go up 8% for every year until you reach age 70. So you're collecting a Social Security benefit, but it's not based on your income. It's based on your spouse's income, even if your spouse is still working. There's a lot of different ways to claim Social Security. I've heard, although I can't substantiate it, that there are in excess of 800 different variations on Social Security claiming strategy. By the way, some of the things that you need to analyze in order to make the maximum benefit of this is such things as how long are you going to live? What's your life expectancy? How long are you going to collect the Social Security benefit whenever you start? So, for example, let's suppose you did wait until you were age 70 to collect your benefit, because that's when you're going to collect the maximum benefit possible. The question is, if you had started collecting at 62 versus starting at age 70, and then you pass away at age 74, will you have collected more or less? If you live to be 85, is that a valuable benefit? Where's the crossover? Where does the taking it at an earlier age versus taking it at a later age, when does the total amount of money that you collect become better one way or the other? The answer is you don't know the answer to these things, but there are possible ways to do the calculation so you have some potential ways to understand better how each different option works. What happened? Another factor that a lot of people haven't given true consideration to is using Social Security benefits as have become more and more of an important part of your retirement income. As you get older, your Social Security benefits become more of a major source of income, and your earned income, fills smaller roles. For example, at different ages, seniors receive less of their income from work. I know that sounds kind of silly, but the truth is, because people are living longer and are having better health, they're actually working longer. Some have intended to, some have to. For example, 64% of couples between 65 to 79 have income from work. People in their 80s only have 15%. 14% of them have income from work. Unmarried seniors is probably between age 65 to 69 is like 65%, and only 5% of those who are over 80 have income from work. Now, it sounds strange that people would actually think about working in what should have been their golden years, but the truth is, because people have better health, they're better able to be involved in activities and work, which is a habit, by the way. Most of us have a work habit. And if you've ever had an occupation that you've enjoyed, then you'll want to continue working. It keeps you occupied, and it's actually good for your health. On the other hand, some people have to. And quite often what you're going to find, I've had my experiences with clients where even though the clients have retired and had no intention of going back to work, they've been called back to work because nobody can do some of the things that they had been doing. So even though people become dependent upon that additional income for longer periods of time, the reality is at some point in time, that income goes away. And when that income goes away, what you're really left with is your investment income, your pension income. Pensions, by the way, are continually eroding and not being available, and your Social Security benefit. By the way, what I have seen is that a lot of people's retirement income has gone down because of changes in the economy, and Social Security income has actually increased because it is one of the few income options that is based and adjusted for cost of living. So be aware that you need to give more consideration to Social Security in your retirement planning than you probably thought. So let's summarize. Number one, Social Security agents should not be your main source of figuring out how to claim your Social Security. They do have a job. They do know how to give you the calculations. They will answer your questions, but you got to know which questions to ask. They're not going to take in consideration things that are outside of your Social Security when it comes to determining when and what the best way to collect your Social Security is. For example, I have to give an example of a client whose spouse passed away when the client was 64 years old, and he still had minor children, meaning children under the age of 18. He collected Social Security benefit for the kids, and when the kids were over 18, he was then eligible to collect a widow's pension, which he did, and he continued to collect the widow's pension from the time that he was about 65, 66. When he was age 69, we had a discussion, and I realized he was collecting a widow's pension, not his pension. Now, his pension had been deferred because he was collecting on a widow's pension. Social Security doesn't call you up, although he had spoken to Social Security when the kids were coming off. They don't say, oh, you're eligible to collect a higher benefit on yours as opposed to on your wife's. He collected an additional, when he finally realized this at age 69, he collected an additional $500 a month, which he could have been collecting for several years prior to that. So Social Security should never be your primary source of figuring out how to claim Social Security. The second item is your personal analysis of your situation is of greater value than you can probably even begin. You need to look at all of your sources of income, your investments, your pensions, your Social Security, your income requirements, in order to determine how and when Social Security comes into play. And the third thing, which I think is probably the most important thing, is it's only till recent years that people have actually done studies and analysis and have statistics and programs that will allow us to be able to analyze how the Social Security claiming comes into play in your retirement planning. And what my conclusion has been is this decision is probably more important than you ever thought. If you think about it, if you were to receive maximum Social Security benefits today, 2015, the maximum benefit would be about $2,600 a month. $2,600 a month is going to be a little over $31,000. If you're eligible to collect $31,000, let's assume that your income was even $100,000 before when you were working. That's a third almost of the income that you were making before. So it's important to understand how best to apply that. If you were to take that $31,000, if you were to wait until you were age 70, that $2,600 becomes $3,400. That $3,400 becomes almost $41,000 a year. $41,000 a year is not something to sneeze at, and it's not something to take for granted. It's decisions like this that may be more important than you ever thought they would be. Now, let's take some time here and let's get your questions and any other comments that you may have. You can just submit them in the comment bar on the bottom of your screen, and then we will answer them. But keep in mind, as I promised, I'm offering a web special, choice of 20-minute one-on-one web meeting or a Social Security claiming analysis, which is an extensive analysis. We'll need your information, but we'll come back and we're going to give you a number of options and what the total results of those options are and show you what it means and what the benefits are. Yeah, I think it's worth $1,200, but if you call me between now and 15 minutes after this webinar is over, we're going to discount it 100%. It's not going to cost you anything. You can take it or you can ignore it, but it won't be coming back. Let me recap. I'm going to offer you something that I think is worth $1,200. You may think it's not worth anything. Even if it's not worth anything, 100% guaranteed that you don't have to pay. Between now and 15 minutes after this webinar ends, that offer is open to you. I suggest you take advantage of it. Once again, let me thank you for taking the time out of your day to participate and listen to this. And we will now answer any questions that you have.